something also in season 2 that I really loved in Ronaldo's storyline, obviously sort of dealing with all of these like beauty queens and this idea of this beauty pageant, it really felt like there was sort of an affinity for beauty pageants, sort of like this idea of like how kind of weird and like mystical they are, but also like it felt like you guys were coming at it from a perspective of like really sort of having a love and appreciation for them. Can you just talk a little bit about why you wanted to incorporate that and like what role beauty pageants maybe have played in your life?
I mean, we all love seeing beautiful women on screen. And they're
That's really what it is, I guess, right?
Love that.
I mean, I forget how the beauty pageant thing like came about, but once we were like, you know, found it, then it was like, oh, like, why would Ronaldo love beauty pageants? And then there's that scene with him and Andres where he explains like people view them and think they know them based on how they look, and they do that to me too.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, sorry, Anna, finish.
No, you can go ahead.
Oh, I don't know if it's a Central American thing or not, but like beauty pageants were always like a thing, very like akin to sports. Very.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Very like oh yeah, this year like Miss Universe, and it's like, oh, okay, let's see what the different like
yeah, people like keep up with it.
Costumes
Yeah.
are for the different ones, and one year I remember my cousin was in a beauty pageant representing like one of the states of El Salvador, and it was just like, oh, it's so weird. It's so this is also strange, and it's like it's such a visually rich thing also to consume, and our friend Martine, who plays the main beauty queen, is such a genius of like physical acting that I don't know, it was just so fun.
Yeah. Well, you're sort of talking about these beauty queens like they're athletes in a way, or like they're sort of like doing like sort of put on this pedestal of like, you know, that's our girl, like that's who represents us, you know, sort of like
and it's so presentational, just facing forward. There's nothing subtle about it.
No.
Well, that's for sure. I know. I mean, I think that's why it's such like a visual playground. It's like there is just nothing subtle. It is sort of like, I mean, I don't know. I guess like beauty pageants and beauty queens have kind of like, maybe there's been some sort of like reckoning with like what they can sort of be, and maybe like in the States especially with like, I don't know, whatever. But
I mean,
who owns them?
Yeah, it's
right.
Like,
yeah, that too.
You know, it's like lately there's been this shift of like where it's like, well, no, but it's also like about their minds and stuff, and it's like, sure, but the prerequisite is they have to be conventionally beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's sort of like a hurdle you have to get over first before we care about with your mind. Yeah,
but in a way, it's sort of like it's sort of in its it's so in your face that it's actually more honest than so many other things, because it's like, you really think about it, a beauty pageant is no different than like TikTok or Instagram, where it's like, yeah, that's most people's calling card.
Yeah.
And then they'll listen to you.
Fred, I would love to ask you if I could. It really seemed like you were just having a blast in season 2. Like, it just seemed like you were having the most fun. What was it like sort of exploring this arc of sort of, you know, a lost meandering character, but who also is like so desperate to kind of hold on to his heart and humanity throughout this thing? It was such a pleasure to watch. What made season 2 so fun for you?
Well, first of all, that I got to be in scenes with the other characters from the show. That's the first thing. It's like, that makes the workday more fun. That's just, you know, immediately easier. But also, as we got to know the characters more in general, and this character, Tico, just seeing that he is such a people pleaser, where his whole life is about, how do I make other people happy, which is not necessarily a productive way to be. That like, that to me is like a funny idea that you can get in your own way just by you know, trying to make everybody happy. Also, I don't know, I think it was just, this show is just I just love doing it. It's great. It's just fun. You know, we shoot in Santiago in Chile, and it's great being there, and it's really far from home. And something about that, I don't know, the whole thing is really fun.